you talk about the relationship between oxidants and antioxidants? So, for example, hyperbaric oxygen being an oxidizing agent, essentially, that it's very, very cleansing. But and they say drink a lot of vitamin C and everything while you're doing it. But just how sort of know about that balance.
Yes.
By the way, I could feel that some difference in the room. Actually, from the driveway, just all the cars, but in the room, really the white and the some energy.
Yes, it's a
really
good
strong.
moment.
Yeah.
I feel some thresholds, some ripples that are rippling out right now.
I haven't felt this white energy for a long time. And in fact, it might have been that comet in about 1997 or something.
First.
Yeah, it might be that comet doing it.
It could be.
But then we're bringing this
That
one's bringing it
radiance.
out more. But there's something.
It's the question. Let me answer it in a little different way. It's very important because we have a lot of conversations within our bodies and around the world about cleansing and purifying on all levels, and how polluted we are, which we really are in terms of our body, because we haven't known how to listen to the body. So that balance, like the hyperbaric, that's definitely going to push a cleansing in there, giving that pure oxygen. It's going to smack up to all those molecules that have to be rippled out to bring the atoms back into a pure position. We know that the atomic healing of some of the great masters on this planet, Jesus the Christ and others, they used atomic healing. And maybe that's because they had that link up with the pure aspect, the pure source. So when you push that into your body, well, it's going to push everything out. So it's very important that when you do that, that you have that sense, this is for you, body. And that's the way I would always handle that. This is for you, body. So that, first of all, you're not terrified when you get into one of those chambers.
It's a little bit weird the first time, but it's not afraid, it's relaxing.
It can be very relaxing. Some people are very frightened by it, but it can be very, very relaxing. But to really use consciousness, the way it really helps is that as you use the consciousness, you're creating the balance. Because it's just like if you put a patch on your skin, the body will take it in as it needs it. So if you're using your consciousness, then you become the filter that says this way, or over here, this part of, maybe it's your kidneys or your ovaries or something else that is really calling for that oxygen, calling for that expansion.
I do that. I sense now that there's a phase that's done with, well, I wouldn't say done with the detoxing, which is why the question about the antioxidants. But I think there's a new phase coming up when I do it again that's more building.
Yes.
And also in the bones, getting it all the way into the bones, because I don't feel that I'm, how you had that bone marrow meditation you talked about?
Yes.
The last time I did it, the last few times I brought in all of my big, thick notebooks and tables and books and everything in there. And you can't have any battery or calculator or anything. So I just had a pencil. You can't even have a pen. I just had a pencil. But I worked really hard. The 2 hours I was in there.
Yes.
I think I did it 2 or 3 days, maybe it was 3 hours. And then, though, when I finished all that, the last month, it's been totally amazing. So somehow, I think new pathways were created just from doing that.
For sure they are.
For
something sure
happened.
They are.
It's been amazing.
Oxygen, is the source of life. So when the brain all of a sudden receives it, it's going to activate the enzymes, the hormones, the neurotransmitters, everything, the layers, the fiber, all the different interstitial fluids in the brain, and it's going to open that up and offer that to you. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, the month thing, because so often we do a process, whether it's incarnational work or oxidative therapy, through your blood or whatever.
What is that?
Oxidative therapy?
Yes.
1 second, I'll tell you. You should have it. Everyone should have it.
That's really good.
But we expect a result instantly. And we don't realize that we are creating. So I love that you say that we're building now and we're creating. And the creating is like the river that flows where there's least resistance. So, it will flow along and it touches this, and because it touches that will create a ripple in that direction. And that's really what happens with neurotransmitters as well. And so suddenly, a month later or a week later, you're feeling that kind of clarity, or you look in the mirror and you see that face that's present. You know, it's not tired, it's not hiding, it's not having something going on, but it's present. And so that's what I think I am saying when I'm saying I feel this little flutter in my heart right now. I feel this building. I feel something building, and it's wonderful. Oxidative therapy is, again, ways to rebalance the gases in the body, the oxygen versus the
Carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide, thank you. Carbon dioxide balance in the body. And let me begin that by saying we don't realize how the body uses energy. For example, if you drink a Coca-Cola or even a blue sky, something that's supposed to be healthy, if it's a bubbly thing, it has carbon dioxide in it. Just what your body's trying to get rid of. And so you're burdening all of your inner organs because you're stuffing this stuff in that's wanting to get out. So oxidative therapy can include taking some blood out of your body and mixing it with ozone, which is just oxygen with an extra molecule. And so that creates a trigger that ripples out and bumps into, just like in a negative way, some things happen in your body where the oxygen molecules are bumped to the next cell, to the next cell. But as it does that, it's feeding the cells. So the cells are able to take in the extra oxygen that comes from the ozone. And so ozone therapy is one of the oxidative therapies that's used. Hydrogen peroxide can be used. What else? There's a third one that's...
Well, hyperbaric. I've done all
And hyperbaric,
yeah.
which is the big deal.
Yeah,
You know,
it's by far the
that's another
best one.
another octave completely. But these kinds of therapies now, I mean, they are healing cancer, they are purifying your blood with a quick way. There's someone here in El Dorado that has a wonderful machine that does the ozone, it does, what is it, Amy?
Ultraviolet.
Ultraviolet. Ultraviolet is a way of purifying, killing the bad stuff in the blood, and using laser. And she just takes out a little blood, it's painless, and you can watch it. I love it because instead of another oxidative therapy would be taking vitamin C, putting massive amounts of vitamin C into the body, which also kill viruses and things like that. But she takes this out, and you can see the color of your blood, and she shakes it back and forth as it's being ozonated and ultraviolet light and lasered, and then it just runs back into your body. And so in taking that small amount of blood, it's affecting the blood all through your body. So it affects everything. And I feel that that's, I mean, I go there every few months just for a little juice. Not because I need it, but because I love it. And I love looking at it. One of the things that I noticed when I first started exploring, because I always try everything on me, was that people, when I go to these places, they're usually cancer people or people who have some very serious disease having this oxidative therapy technique, and their blood is very dark, sometimes almost black. There's no oxygen in it, because cancer can't grow with oxygen, can't grow in an alkaline environment, for example. And so the color of their blood is amazing. And so when you do this, it's this beautiful magenta. Blood is beautiful, you know, color that comes as it's being ozonated and balanced. So I think it's a wonderful new technology that, instead of being terribly invasive, for example, putting chemicals, poisons into the body, certainly when it comes to chemotherapy, for example, why not just get down to the source of how did this thing get in you? Now, speaking of healing, at the Light Institute, we would say that there is no disease, my higher self would say, there is no disease that does not have an emotional source to it. So at the Light Institute, we have a series of sessions called Soul Lessons Through the Body. So that if you go back to the moment that a virus enters you, or as we say in Chinese medicine, negative qi enters you, then you can see how you gave permission to it. Because our bodies are brilliant. They're capable of everybody has cancer cells. Everybody has cells. What's a cancer cell? It's a cell that can't remember its purpose. It's disconnected, it's gobbling up everything else, it's trying to multiply so it can survive.
Very symbolic for our times.
Very symbolic for our time, you know. It feeds on sugar, it feeds on acidity, it feeds on negativity. So whatever little imbalance we have in our body, if we go back and say, let me see, what's the story here? Then we can pull out from it its capacity to survive within us, and it doesn't survive in us. But we need to have that sense that, as my higher self said at the beginning of my writing books, you are your own healer, you are your own teacher. You are your own divine master. You know, and so we need to come to this. We need to be able to let go of our fear that the body's doing it to us. Now we've been doing it to our body forever and ever. So
Can
if
you
you
put that
bump
on
your knee,
CNN by any chance?
so if you bump your body, say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know, and if you feed your body food, this is for you, body. The body is conscious. It's made of light. That's a scientific fact. It's conscious. It's made of light. And we need to talk to our bodies, commune with our bodies. And it's amazing what they will do in reaction and response to your presence. Most people are talking heads. You know, the rest of this stuff, I can't handle that, so go away. We need to get into our bodies and see them as light beings, as points of information for us. So oxidative therapy is wonderful because it allows us to do something for our body that of course your body wants. Of course it wants oxygen, of course it wants to purify the blood, of course it wants energy to get into the cells, which this hyperbaric will do. It's going to push it, that oxygen into the level of the cells, which completely rejuvenates you. So it's exciting in today's world that there are so many new ways of addressing our bodies rather than trying to override our bodies. And we just need to know about it. We just need to discover for ourselves who we are as a body. You know, consciousness does not die with the cells of your body. So we have to look at the body in a different way, a very different way.